Finn Rider. Hey, listen, I recorded a video previously. It's a test video, actually. But I turned out better than anything I've ever been able to make since. So I'm just going to have you watch the test video. The audio is a little quieter than I wanted it to be, but it's good enough. But yeah, it just turned out to be a better video than I was able to do otherwise. So here you go. Finn Rider. Excuse me, Finn Rider. Wanted to do a quick video for you on the compass in your rifle. The compass in your rifle is probably one of the coolest things mankind has ever invented. And the fact that there's one in your Red Ryder is really, really, really cool. Let's jump right into it. So, as you know, we live on the Earth. Somewhere in there, or you live somewhere in there. The Earth is in space. Well, in reality, the Earth is like a car, kind of like when you get in a car with your parents to go get ice cream or whatever. The Earth goes through space like your car goes down the road. Now, we don't really pilot the Earth. It just kind of knows where it's supposed to go, which is really nice for us because we don't have to learn. But the Earth is, in fact, a spaceship or a vehicle for us to fly through space. So if it's a vehicle in space, how do we keep all the air and the trees and the good stuff close to the surface? And there's no, like, in your car you have a windshield glass to keep the outside air out and the inside air in. So what keeps the outside air out and the inside air in? Well, one thing in particular is what keeps all of the bad energy from the sun from reaching the Earth. Now, all this has to do with your compass. We'll get to it in a second, but this is fascinating. So space has a bunch of bad air, essentially. It's more of the absence of air, but we'll just call it bad air for this sake. And then it has bad rays and good rays that come off of the sun. The good rays we want to get through, the bad rays we don't want to get through. So the Earth has a special system called an electromagnetic sphere, or electromagnetic waves. And what they do is they act like the Earth's windshield that keeps the bad rays from the sun and the air that we don't want from space from getting into the Earth. Here's what that looks like. Boom. So here's the Earth, and it has this essentially like a spinning thing inside of it that creates an electromagnetic field, or basically this special force that, as you can see, it ripples all around the Earth, creating this multi-layers of protection from the bad radiation that the sun gives off, and only letting through, as you see, this side of the Earth is lit up. So the good light and the good heat is getting through, but all this bad radiation is bouncing off. So that electromagnetic field is the windshield for the Earth. And you see how big it is compared to how big the Earth is. Let's look at the next image. So here you can see the actual rays and how they bounce off, and how that thing is generating the actual electromagnetic field. So you see it's kind of looping off like this, kind of like waves or ripples in the water. But these ripples that the Earth is putting off in these two main directions and up is pushing away all the negative energy that the sun is putting out. Now, we're going to get to the nitty gritty. That's what it looks like on Earth. That's what the electromagnetic generator looks like. This is a depiction of it. We can't see it because it doesn't interact with light in the same way that a pizza or your mom and dad do. It's kind of invisible to some degree. And so, but we can see the effects of it. We can see how it moves things. And what you see here is you see all these lines showing it moving things and how it spins around the earth. The earth is in the very center of that. But notice there's blue and yellow lines. Well, the reason why there's blue and yellow lines is because that's how it makes itself. It splits itself into two things, and those two things generate a reaction, and that reaction creates this giant, almost invisible loop that protects us from the sun's bad radiation and from outer space. Now, here's how it has to do with your Red Rider. That field, that electromagnetic field that protects the earth from all that stuff, we can measure it to determine which way is up and which way is down. So you can see here how that should look more like, or that should look more like your Red Rider's compass. So what's happening here is if you're close to the center of the earth, you can see how it's rippling out. But you can see how these ripples are close to the surface of the earth. So if you were here, you can see that your compass is feeling that arrow pulling up that way. And that's why it's pointing that way. Is because it always points the same direction, because it can feel the electromagnetic ripples coming off, and they're coming out like that too. They're looping out and up at you and then going back in. And they're going back behind it and then sneaking up behind it and coming into the bottom. It's all looping all the way around like a giant donut with a little hole in the middle. And all of that energy that's looping around inside of that donut, your compass can measure that. So no matter where you're at on the earth, it always points north. And as long as you know which direction the north is, you'll never get lost. So your compass in your rifle is actually measuring the Earth's protective field that keeps us safe from all of the bad things in space. Pretty cool, huh? If you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to call me and ask. I love talking about this stuff. If you want to know more, I'll be making more videos for you. The other thing in your stock of your rifle, the sundial, is just as cool and just as fascinating. So I'm going to do a video for that for you too. All right, Finn, hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you soon, bud.